Hello. Happy Tuesday, September 2nd, 2020. It's the second day of the September self-love journey, and I am me, Serendipity Wyrd. I am here to be your guide through this journey. All right, today we need a lovely sacred space set up. Set it up however you wish. If you have a yoga mat, get that set up. We'll be good to go. For props, you want one rolled up blanket, towel, something large, like piece of fabric that you can make kind of this cushy little bundle with. We're going to use it for our supported bridge pose in today's practice. Also, it can help you in a couple of other places. So have yourself a nice cushy blanket. I have a lovely bag filled with all my goodies I need. I've got my Divination deck. I also have another deck that I'm going to pull a card for us for our journey as a collective at the end of practice today. And I have my journal. Journal. Can't leave home without it. If you started interacting with a candle yesterday, if you charged a candle with your intention for this journey and it's, you didn't let it go out all the way, you can certainly bring that into the practice today. Or you are welcome to use a red candle. We are going to be working with the energy of our root chakras over the next 4 days. So the color red is often attributed to the root chakra. Also, I like to think of any earthy colors, any muddy browns or olive greens, colors that evoke the earth, because the earth is the element that we work with here in the root chakra. It's our connection to the physical and the manifest. Also, other associations we have with the root chakra, animals, the elephant. For deities, Lord Ganesha, he actually has an elephant head. Cool story. We'll tell that some other time. We have the element of earth. We have a sound. Lam. Lam. We will be integrating that in our meditation at the end of this practice. And yeah, so get all your stuff ready. Get yourself set up. Light your candle. Purify your space as you do. I always use a little bit of Palo Santo to clear things, consecrate myself, get myself ready. I like ritual. That's my thing. If you're not down for all that jazz and, whatever, don't worry about it. You can also just plop yourself right on down. It's your practice. My suggestions are just suggestions. You do not have to do everything that I do exactly as I do it. I today also have this piece of red jasper with me. Red jasper, it being a red stone, this is one of my root chakra stones that I have. I like it. It always feels so grounding and amazing to me. And I love just holding it and just tinglies. So I've got this stone with me today to help support my practice, hanging out right there on the altar. There are tons of other correspondences. I don't want to take up the whole video with it, so let's get right into it, right into our yoga practice for today. We are starting seated again. We're going to stay on the floor today because our theme is grounding. On this first day of working with our root chakra, we're going to stick to grounding. We're going to work on our connection to the earth, to that energetic tunnel that exists, the way that we can flow our energy into the earth and back and be connected through grounding. So we're going to start sitting. Let me move all my goodies out of the way here. Boop. All right, so start seated, and we want to bring our legs out in front of us today. Move any flesh out from underneath that booty. Get all... I like to wiggle because I'm very physical and I need all of that movement. Feeling the sits bones connected down to the earth, feeling grounded here. This is one of the places where we can use our cool rolled up piece of fabric. We can stick that right underneath the knees. I like to pull it a little bit back more towards the thighs so there's not pressure on the back of the knee. You could also scoot it up more up towards the calves if that feels better for you. Wherever you might have some tight muscles in your body today, that can bring a little bit of ease to that. Again, in all of our physical practices, in all of our emotional, mental practices, we are not trying to cause ourselves harm, pain, or distress. We are okay with some discomfort. Discomfort helps us grow, helps us sprout into the awesome magical beings that we are, but we don't want pain. So if having the legs fully outstretched, the hamstrings are tight, the calves don't feel great, something in the legs and just doesn't feel great, slide that right underneath. You can also give yourself a little extra seat and place that right underneath your hips. That might feel good too. Try a couple things out, see what feels good for you. Me, I like being on directly in connection to the ground. It feels fine for my legs, so that's what I will be doing for this pose. So let's get started. Settle yourself in. Go ahead and take those hands and put them right down on the ground immediately. In these first moments, we're not seeking to change anything with the breath. We're not trying to do anything funky or crazy or anything. We're just getting in touch with our body. So find yourself seated. And then where are your shoulders? Are you hunched forward? Let's bring that spine up, shoulders right over the hips. Relax them down away from the ears. Get that nice tall spine engaged. And this is our neutral position here. This is where we are starting. So now we're going to tune into the breath before we really start to engage with the body. Bring those hands right to that low belly. Feel free to move your belly around if you need to. Your body is yours. You get to touch it if you want to. So find that low belly. Connect there. Again, keeping that tall spine. Shoulders are over the hips. Close the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Feel the breath enter and move through the chest down into the belly. Feel the belly swelling against your hands. Hold it just a moment. Sip in just a little more air. And open your mouth. Sigh it out. Not moving the shoulders. Feeling that belly naturally contract back towards the spine. Inhaling. The belly rises, moves away from the body, and exhaling, belly button to spine, pushing all of the air out. One more breath to get us grounded and ready for this practice. Inhaling in, and exhaling out. Maybe a loud, audible sigh there. Your practice, you get to make all the noise that you want. We're going to turn our attention to our legs and our feet. Let's put the hands right on the ground. Again, we're grounding today, so we want to stay in connection here. And with our breath, we're going to interact with our feet. So on our first inhale, we're going to pull the toes back towards us, keeping the knees pointed up towards the sky. You're going to get a lot of work in the legs, even though it looks like we're not really doing much. That's the magic that can happen through engaging with our body. So inhale, we'll bring those toes back. Exhale, we'll just relax. And then inhale, we'll point, and exhale, we'll relax. And we'll repeat that process 3 times. So let's go for it. You go with your breath. I will direct the breath, but if you're at a slightly different pace, that's totally good. You do you. So inhaling, pulling those toes towards us, feeling that engagement through the calves, really energetically pushing out through the heels. Exhale, relax it all. You can let the knees fall away a little bit if that feels good for you. And then inhaling, those knees are back, pointed up towards the sky, pointing the toes forward. Spine is nice and tall. Inhale. And exhale. Let it go. Inhale, flex the feet, push energetically out through the heels. Exhale, relax. Inhale, point the toes this time. Engaging through the whole leg. Exhale, relax. One more time. Inhaling. Exhaling, relaxing everything. Inhaling, pointing the toes. Exhaling, relaxing. Maybe a little wiggle is here. Ooh. All right. We are actually going to turn to be able to lie down on our mat. So swing the legs over in a direction that feels good. Squish your bottom down. Soles of the feet come to the mat. You can have your feet as wide apart. I try for hip length. If you need a little more or a little less, find the space that's good for you. Just you want to feel aligned. You want those knees up towards the sky. Slowly roll down. And again, for today's practice, we're really getting into feeling our feet today, because the feet and the legs are a part of our root chakra. So we're going to squish down, moving the hips towards the feet, still leaving a little space though. Feel the feet here on the mat. Feel those knees pointing up towards the sky, palms touching the ground, feeling grounded here. Taking a moment to connect back to the breath. Inhaling, the belly rises. Exhale, belly falls, pulls in towards the spine. And this time as we inhale, let's pull the toes up off the ground. And exhale with control. We're going to try to put the pinky toes down first, and then the next, and the middle toes, and the pointer toes, and finally our big toes. And then inhaling, pull all those toes back up. Exhaling, big toes go down this time, swirling out to the pinky toes. 2 more times. Inhaling, all the toes lift up. Exhaling, connecting pinky to ring, to middle, to pointer, to big toe. Inhale, pull them up. Let's go the opposite way. Big toe goes down first, spiraling out to the pinky. Inhale, toes up. Last time. At your own pace, just let the pinky toe down. Moving on towards the big toe. Feeling the gentle rock through the leg as this happens. Inhaling, toes up. Exhaling, big toes down. Out to the pinky toe. Maybe you need a little wiggle here. Maybe you want to wiggle those toes. And then scooch the bottom down towards the heels as much as possible. And we're going to lift up onto our heels. Lift the balls of the feet up and set them down. Lift the heels up off the ground and set them down. Inhaling, pull the balls of the feet up off the ground. Exhaling, set the outside of the foot down and then the inside. Inhaling, pull the heel up. Outside of the heel touches the ground and then the inside. Inhale, toes up. Balls of the feet up. We're going to touch the inside of the ball of the foot down and then the outside. Inhale, heels lift. Inside of the heel. And then outside. One more time on your own. Inhale, ball of the foot up. Outside. Inside. Inhale, heels rise. Outside touches down. Inside touches down. Inhale, balls of the feet rise. Inside. Exhale, the outside down. Inhale, heels lift, inside touches, outside down to the ground. And we now know all 4 corners of our feet here. squishing those heels in towards the hips as much as possible. Maybe we can brush our heels with our fingertips, feeling all four corners of those feet engaged down with the mat, keeping the knees straight up, but pushing the thighs towards one another. There's a lot of work happening here. Engaging through all four corners of the feet, and then pushing into the ground, inhaling, lifting that pelvis up off the ground here. All of this work in the legs, relaxing the glutes, palms of the hands on the mat, on the ground, pushing downward as our body is lifted up. Grab that rolled up fabric. I'm going to place that right underneath the sacrum, above the tailbone. Find a nice comfy spot. It might take a little bit of moving to find it. You do not want any pain here. And relax the pelvis down onto that support. This is our supported bridge pose. You can stay right here with the knees bent, letting the ground support you. You can walk those feet to the outer edges of the mat and let the knees come together. Feels a little bit different. Or you can stretch the legs out long, maybe reaching back overhead for a gentle back bend here. Letting that root ground you down, surrendering to gravity, feeling the pull, feeling the grounding of the earth. Staying here for 3 breaths. Inhaling, the belly rises. Exhaling, belly pulls into the spine. Inhale, belly rises. Exhale, pulling into the spine. One more really big breath in here, filling all the way up. Sipping in a little more air at the top of that inhale. Open the mouth, sigh it out, let it all go. Feel yourself just being pulled into the ground here. Bringing the arms back down to the sides. Feet moving back in towards the hips, grounding down all 4 corners of those feet here, hip width apart. Finding that power, finding that strength, pushing into the ground, lifting the hips up high. Using the power of the legs, your powerful legs, to push you up. Finding this back bend here. Releasing the glutes, letting the legs do the work. If you feel a little shaky here, that's good. Your muscles are working. Inhale and exhale. You're going to move that fabric out of the way, slowly releasing down 1 vertebrae at a time, tucking the pelvis so the hips are the last thing to come down. The root is that very last piece to touch. Finding a moment of stillness here with the breath. Inhale. Exhale. Squeeze those legs into the chest, giving yourself a hug here. Maybe a little wiggle side to side to massage out the spine after that work we just did. And we're going to stretch the legs all the way up to the sky here, really flexing the feet, pulling the toes towards the face, energy of the heels going right up to the sky, feeling that connection, feeling us shooting the roots up and out. An inverted, kind of upside down view of our world here. Relaxing the back body, relaxing the shoulders. Unclench the jaw. Let the eyes soften. Resting here while the legs are working, the core is working to keep those legs tall and straight up in the air. Just a few more breaths. Big breath in, fill all the way up into the belly. Sip in that little bit of air. And now exhale, slowly release down to the ground. Arms float down to the ground. Legs float down to the ground as slowly as you can, staying with control here. We're gaining that grounded sensation. Reaching, spreading the fingers, taking the right leg out to the corner of the mat, then the left leg out to the corner of the mat. Moving the shoulders underneath, opening the heart. Laying back here. If the low back is tight at all, you can place that roll of fabric back underneath the low back. You can keep your knees bent here. You can place the rolled up fabric underneath the knees to provide a little extra release. As we move into this pose of relaxation, this space where we receive our practice, turning the palms up. Feeling our legs heavy now after all the work that they did for us, feeling grounded. Big breath in. Fill all the way up. Open the mouth. Let it all go. Sigh out. Sink into the ground. Relax every muscle in your body. Release control of your breath. Begin to deepen the breath, allowing each inhale to become slightly longer, slightly deeper. The exhale, the same. Imagine in your mind's eye what it feels like to wiggle the toes to bring movement back into the feet. And then allow that movement to manifest. Wiggling the toes and then wiggling the fingers, rolling the ankles, rolling the wrists. Maybe a big stretch all the way through the whole body. Exhaling, bringing the knees into the chest, rolling over onto your favorite side. Keeping the eyes closed here, finding the position of rebirth. Taking a moment here to express gratitude to yourself. Thank you, self, for being strong, for carrying me through this practice today. Thank you for showing up. Using the strength of your arms, pushing up, back to a seated position. Maybe the legs are crossed in front of you. Maybe they're out long. Settling in, moving any flesh out of the way. Returning to that connection. Down in the root, connecting down to the ground through the sits bones. Crown of the head stretching up high towards the heavens. This magical space of connection between heaven and earth. You, precious, wonderful, amazing you, exists. A breath in, a breath out. We'll tap in to the Bhu mudra today, taking the fingers, forming a V with the first and middle finger, connecting the thumb lightly on top of the ring and the pinky as it bends in. Grounding down, letting this position of the hands graze the ground, this position of grounding. Centered here, shoulders over the hips, relaxed and tall. Fingertips grazing the ground, we return our attention to our root, to this space where we are grounded, the space of connection with the earth, where we can let all things flow out from us which no longer serve. Perhaps they nourished us once before, but now they have served their purpose. We release what no longer serves down, down, deep into the ground, into the earth, where the energy can be recycled and reused to nourish our Mother Earth. Staying with the breath here. To more deeply connect with the energy of our root, I invite you to join me in chanting Lam 3 times. Big inhale in, filling up. Feel the vibrations move through you. The vibrations starting deep, deep down in the belly, right at the root. Another inhale. A breath in silence, releasing the mudra, letting the fingertips graze against the ground,
giving thanks and gratitude to our Mother Earth for supporting us, for being the space in which to accept that which no longer serves us, that allows us to ground deep in her reservoirs. Inhale, the arms float up overhead with the palms coming to touch. And exhale, elbows grow heavy, gravity pulling them down till the thumbs reach heart center, pressing in against the chest. One final breath of grounding, final breath of release here as we wrap up our yoga and meditation practice today. Bringing movement to the hands, rubbing them back and forth, feeling ourselves back fully into the body. I invite you to clap one time to disperse the energy of our practice. Whew. And now we can move on to our divination. Whew. All buzzy and stuff. All right, so we need whatever tools that you're using. You can get them out now. I'm going to pull my cards a little bit later, but today, after I introduce the prompt to you, I will be pulling us a card around that prompt for the general spirit and energy of the journey itself. Kind of an overarching message for us. So today's prompt, without further ado, believe it or not, is all about grounding. How can I feel grounded in my self-love? How can I be grounded in my self-love? What grounds me in my self-love? Whatever variation of that idea works for you, however the words flow for you. Again, you use whatever divination tool speaks to you, whether that's tarot, whether it's an oracle deck, maybe it's runes, maybe you just want to lie outside and see if an animal messenger wanders about. Maybe you want to feel the shifts and tides of the weather. Signs of nature are also divination. Maybe you just want a quiet moment to listen and hear the whisper of deity, of spirit. Whatever route you want to take here is perfect. It's beautiful and it's lovely, and I love it for you. Just ask the question and see what comes up. Get your journal out, start making some notes. Even if you don't use any divination tool, I invite you to journal around that prompt. What helps you feel grounded? How can you feel grounded in your self-love? We want to approach the self-love from a place of grounding, from a place of being rooted into the earth, to the manifest, so what works for us, what can help relieve us of what isn't serving us any longer, what can strengthen us and provide stability. This isn't self-love, I think, can get a really bad rap, along kind of with yoga and a lot of the woo-woo-y things I do, because it can be prone to some toxic positivity, to some false positivity, to some pure love and light sort of outlook where we don't deal with the nitty-gritty, the darkness, the shadows. And to me, that's bypassing what we could do and what we can do. These practices are popular and powerful for really real reasons. Treat them as such. Let yourself go to those places a bit. Again, with discernment, know when it's appropriate to push that edge a little further and when you need to back off and just wait till maybe there's a better time. Safety, security, and groundedness is what we are about in these first initial days of our practice. If we try to jump right into our heads and our hearts and, way up lofty in the spirit realm, we are missing that piece of our physicality and this piece that connects us into what we are. The fact that we do live here in our meat suit. And when we don't feel safe, everything's scarier. When we don't feel secure, the fear just comes in, and that negative voice, that self-talk that is destructive and loathing and awful has such an easier hold on us. At least it has for me. So I think it's really important to start from a place of being grounded, being firmly connected to our journey. And that keeps us walking with it. Even past these 30 days, we continue to walk with the journey, even when it looks different, even when, maybe it's not every single day. We're still connected because we're grounded into it. We know that we are safe and secure as we move through this. So look at what and how you can be grounded in this journey. What works for you. On that note, for us all, I am going to consult Ganesh and ask for some insight into some overall advice on how to feel grounded, how to feel safe and stable while we undertake this journey. As is my normal process, I will be doing a little bit of a chant first, celebrating Ganesh. That is generally how I approach him. So shuffle up a few minutes. When the cards feel ready, I will begin. All right. I think we feel pretty good. Okay. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Om. What can we use to feel grounded? How can we release any obstacles in our way? Priorities is what came forward here. This is card number 30. So if we reduce that from a numerological perspective, we're looking at the number 3, which often has to do with our connection to other people, communities, that place where we're beginning to have an idea that something is able to manifest, not quite manifest, but it's not just an idea. It's this interesting liminal space. So, priorities. Often, when we're thinking about this in terms of the obstacles that get in our way on any journey, right? Priorities can solve that. Being present here in this practice, making the time to do this journey has to be a priority to get through it, right? That means maybe skipping out on something else you thought you wanted to do. That might look like, telling a partner or family member, a loved one, like, hey, I really need 30 minutes to myself, 10 minutes to myself, 5 minutes to myself. Again, with this journey, you don't have to do every aspect of it. If your takeaway is making 5 minutes for yourself to go sit without any distractions and think about how to love yourself that day, that is perfect. The priority centered on yourself is what is going to help you move through this. It's what's going to diminish these obstacles to feeling grounded in this. Make yourself a priority. That is our message today. Thank you, Ganesh. Whew. All right, so lots of good stuff today, I think. Tell me about it in the comments, what's working for you, what's not. There will be threads on Facebook. I will post my my divination later for myself, for my personal journey on Instagram. Check out my blog for kind of a synopsis of all of this, and on the blog I will have the links to all of the things that I'm doing related to this. So I would love to hear about your journey. Your feedback is awesome. So I hope you have a really, really beautiful day. I hope it goes well for you. Lots of love to you. Mwah. Drink lots of water. While the physical practice that we're engaging in may not feel like it's a lot of work, energetically it can be a lot. Emotionally it can be a lot. You might be surprised through this journey where it takes you. So be gentle with yourself. Speak kindly to yourself. Treat yourself like you are your best friend. That is part of where we're trying to go with all of this. If you wouldn't say the thoughts and the words and the feelings that you're feeling to your very best friend, don't say them to yourself, right? Reword it. And that's a skill. You'll learn it. You'll get better at it. I promise. I have, and I used to talk shit about myself all day, every day. So you can do it too. You can pull out of that pattern of negative self-talk and into something more positive. It's about prioritizing your language. Anyway, drink water. You'll need it. You need to hydrate. I'm going to go do that right now. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining me. Lots of love.